So Bulvinaka, once again, welcome to another webinar. I'm Dr. Alipate from Fiji, and I'd just like to welcome those of you who are just tuning into this webinar today. Once again, the webinar is being recorded, and a link will be emailed to you if you've signed up. Also, the South Pacific Society of Lifestyle Medicine. This is an organization that's being set up to effectively combat the pandemic that we are experiencing across the Pacific of non-communicable diseases. SPSLM is trying to promote the education and training of health professionals in the use of evidence-based approaches to address the root cause of non-communicable diseases, which we all know is related to your lifestyle. During the process of this webinar, please feel free to, if you have any burning questions or comments, use the questions and comments section on the toolbar of Zoom. Yep. Okay, so what is lifestyle medicine? Again, it's an evidence-based medical specialty that uses lifestyle therapeutic approaches, predominantly whole food, plant-based, regular physical activity, sleep, stress management, abstinence from risky substances and other non-drug modalities to treat, prevent, and many times reverse non-communicable diseases, also known as degenerative chronic diseases. Don't forget also that the South Pacific Society of Lifestyle Medicine is having its inaugural conference at the beautiful Pearl Resort in Pacific Harbor, and the date for this has been confirmed. This is the 10th to the 12th of March, 2020. So mark the date in your calendars and plan to be there. Chronic disease is now responsible for around 70 to 80% of all healthcare expenditure. Yet most of us health professionals still treat it the same way that it's been treated for years, with pills and injections. Now, while we're not against this completely, we know that it's just temporary, it's a temporary solution, and it really doesn't address the underlying cause of the chronic disease. Now, most physicians and health professionals receive little to no education at all in terms of lifestyle medicine, on nutrition, exercise, rest, or even social connectivity. And these are the pillars of lifestyle medicine. So learning how to prevent, arrest, and reverse chronic disease is scientifically evidence-based, and the official seal of approval that someone can receive once they've studied and mastered the discipline of can be received from the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine. The International Board of Lifestyle Medicine exams are actually going to take place immediately after the conference here in Fiji on Friday, the 13th of March. So again, if you attend the conference, this certification is something that you might want to pursue. And we'll be talking a little bit about that in this webinar. So the Lifestyle Medicine Board Review course, this is basically to prepare yourself for the lifestyle medicine exams. And we recommend that you complete this course before you actually come in March. And we'll be talking about that in this particular presentation. So our guest speaker for today is Dr. Stephan Herzog, and he currently serves as the Executive Director of both the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine and the American Board of Lifestyle Medicine. And he's served previously in a variety of capacities, including the North American Regional Director for the Lifestyle Medicine Institute, who actually owns the CHIP program, or the Complete Health Improvement Program. He's also been CEO for the Fernwood Women's Health Clubs in Australia and the National Operations Director for the General Electric Capital Fleet Services. So yes, it's an honor to have Dr. Stephan here to talk to us a little bit more about the lifestyle medicine board certification. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, those of us joining us from around the Pacific, feel free to send in your comments, and I will officially hand over to Dr. Stephan.
Thank you very much, Alipate, and Bula Vinaka to everybody. So why would you want to get certified in lifestyle medicine? That's always the question that people ask. So why would I want to do that? And so when you have a look at the treatment triangle, if we could get to the next slide, please. If you have a look at that triangle, here we go. So we talk about physicians, or mainly every healthcare professional usually gets trained in prescriptions and surgery and how to take care of the patients in the communicable disease space. And so at med school, that's what you learn, the very top of that triangle, of that pyramid. However, science has shown that the basis of all chronic disease and the basic of most disease in general is actually the way we feed ourselves, the way we move, or the lack thereof, our resilience, which includes obviously sleep and stress, and our connectedness, be that connectedness to each other or to whatever higher power we might believe in. And so when you look at the left-hand side there, obviously the further up the triangle you go, the higher risk, the higher cost, and the more foreign and invasive procedures become. While when you go to the bottom of it, it's obviously very low risk, it's very low cost, and it's totally natural. And so most physicians, most healthcare professionals have never heard of the science of lifestyle medicine. And when you look then at the centerpiece there, the physiology, that's kind of where the whole functional and integrative medicine fits in. And so I always make the really corny example, you know, if somebody were to suffer from scurvy, lifestyle medicine basically says to you, go and eat oranges, go and eat citrus fruit. What functional and integrative medicine tells you is go and eat the vitamin gummy. What for the pharmaceutical industry says, hey, go and get some prescription for some vitamin injections or vitamin drugs. And then obviously if all else fails, you're gonna cut the thing out, right? And so if you go to the next slide, what we're actually trying to do in lifestyle medicine, we're not trying to be a new discipline in the house of medicine or in the street of medicine. What we want to do is basically recreate the foundation of every medical discipline out there, whether that be cardiology or family medicine or internal medicine or any other medicine. The basis of everything should be lifestyle medicine. And so one of the things that obviously the South Pacific Society of Lifestyle Medicine is doing is trying to lobby government, is trying to work with hospitals, trying to work with educational facilities to introduce lifestyle medicine curricula into the med schools, the medicine schools, but also then retrofit existing physicians and health professionals in the science of lifestyle medicine. Okay, if we go to the next slide, please. So there is, I want to take you through 9 little things of why we believe lifestyle medicine certification makes sense. For starters, it clearly simply says that if you pass the lifestyle medicine board exam, that you actually know what you're talking about, that you have a high level of expertise and skill, and that when you talk about nutrition, you talk about resilience, you talk about sleep hygiene, you talk about smoking cessation, that you're not just mouthing off, but you actually have studied this, you've seen the evidence, you looked at all the published papers, you're truly an expert at what you do. The second thing, if we can go to the next slide, please. The second thing is, when you get certified, it simply says that you are no longer what I disrespectfully call a voodoo merchant or snake oil salesman who kind of peddles non-scientific stuff, you know, or take this pill, take this potion, oh, buy this crystal, put this amulet around your neck, you know, go and eat the fruit at Friday the 13th at midnight and it'll cure you. It simply says you studied, and it sets you apart from all the people who practice non-evidence-based lifestyle medicine. Next slide, please. what it does, certification does, it gives you a common language and knowledge across the world, but also across your entire spectrum, from the physician and the specialist down to the orderly and the nurse and all the healthcare professionals in between. We're all speaking the same language. We all have the same scientific basis. We all treat chronic disease in the same way. We all know that the best way of treating it is through the plant-based whole foods, predominantly plant-based whole foods diets, and the various other modalities that are being introduced. So this idea of a common language across the entire spectrum is very important. Next one, please. What lifestyle medicine does is actually, through the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine, we run the same exam all over the globe, and I'll show you some slides later on, but we have the same exam, the same questions, the same pass rates, the same proctoring, the same prerequisites. We have the same everything for everybody around the globe. And that is an absolute novelty in the history of the medical profession, because every country usually runs their own little separate things. And so we're very proud of the fact that we have been able to convince the world to adopt what the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine is doing, and so spread the word in that manner. Next one, please. One of the things clearly that Alipate has already, I guess, alluded to is that while traditional medicine addresses symptoms, and again, that there's nothing wrong with that, that comes clearly from the communicable disease environment, where you diagnose the ill and then you prescribe the pill. And for most people, then you also send the bill. What lifestyle medicine is obviously doing is trying to address the underlying symptoms, the root causes of what has caused the chronic disease, rather than the, I guess, symptoms that are prevailing. And so the idea of arresting a disease, the idea of reversing a disease is totally novel. And when you say to somebody, even respected cardiologists, did you know that you can reverse atherosclerotic plaque? Did you know that adopting a predominantly plant-based whole foods diet that is low in salt, fat, and sugars, and if you eat minimally processed foods, did you know that your atherosclerotic plaque actually starts to disappear? Your arteries started to soften up. The same with diabetes. That diabetes can be absolutely reversed if you know how to eat and how to live your life. And so that is really a very exciting prospect for all of us. Next slide, please. One of the things that we obviously hear over and over and over again is that, you know, practicing this way, I actually start to make a difference again in my patients' lives, rather than just managing an illness and basically prescribing higher and higher doses of medications and more medication to combat all the side effects. I can actually start to take people off medications. I can see people restored to health. I can see people's biometric measures getting normalized, and I can see people returning to good health and sometimes even to optimal health. And that is tremendously satisfying for healthcare professionals, because it's just, there's so much dissatisfaction with the way medicine is practiced. And don't get me wrong, I'm not vilifying the medical profession. Again, there is an absolute place for stents. There is an absolute place for statins. There's an absolute place for insulin, and there is an absolute place for surgeries, but it should not be the only option that we have out there. Next slide, please. So one of the things that might not appear be as important in Fiji, and I'm not too familiar with the way the healthcare system works, but in most Western countries, obviously you can bill for prescribing pills, but you cannot bill to teach somebody how to live well. You cannot bill for prescribing broccoli or beans or plant-based diets. And so for physicians and for allied health professionals, it's very financially unlucrative to practice lifestyle medicine. And so obviously as a global movement, we're lobbying everybody from the World Health Organization to the Non-Communicable Disease Alliance to the various governments to start to recognize the benefits of lifestyle medicine, and that people who practice it should be rewarded adequately for the work that they do. Next slide, please. The idea that restoring health becomes more and more important, I think, is evident, particularly when you look at the healthcare costs. What we're currently doing is simply unsustainable, whether that be in Fiji or in Australia or in New Zealand or in the US or in the UK. Healthcare costs are rising and rising and rising and rising. And that's because people are no longer getting well. And so the idea of restoring health and thus saving people's lives, as well as saving people's sanity and saving people's quality of life, that you can also save an absolute fortune in healthcare costs. That's almost self-evident. The challenge we have, though, is that, you know, we flippantly say that the health industry treats people without any regards to their food, and the food industry feeds people without any regards to their health. And that's why we have this huge discrepancy between the way we practice health or illness care, and the outcomes that we should be achieving. There's the other thing is, and again, that's probably slightly an aggressive statement to make, but there is no real money in healthy people. There is also no money in dead people. So the only profitable state of being for pharmaceutical industry and for the healthcare industry, right, is a permanent state of ill health. And what lifestyle medicine is doing, it's truly intercepting this and saying, no, we can restore health again. Next slide, please. This is the last one of my 9 reasons why you should become certified, and that applies to me. When I look after an international board of lifestyle medicine, or I look after the American board of lifestyle medicine, and I'm kind of a health evangelist, so to speak, people always look at me first and they ask me, do you practice what you preach? And if I'm 30, 40, 50 kilos overweight, and if I'm standing out the front before my presentations having a smoke, or if I go out boozing at night, or if I don't live the principles of lifestyle medicine, then I just become really a joke, right? I can't really expect people to listen to anything I say unless I walk the talk and I lead by example. And so being a certified lifestyle medicine physician or allied health professional or nurse practitioner, that actually forces us to take our own medicine and walk the talk and lead by example. And that keeps me tremendously honest. Anyway, moving on. So let me talk to you a little bit about certification. So we basically have 3 levels of certification. The first level is for lifestyle, what we call the lifestyle medicine practitioner. There are registered nurses, dietitians, any bachelor level health professional. And those people go through an exam and they will be certified by the South-Pacific Society of Lifestyle Medicine. A level up from there is what we call the lifestyle medicine professional. That's open to PhD and master level health professionals. And there the certification will be issued by the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine and the South-Pacific Society of Lifestyle Medicine. And again, that's kind of the common denominator all over the globe. And then we have the physician, again, certified by IBLM and as the South Pacific Society of Lifestyle Medicine. Yeah, next slide, please. So when you look at the prerequisites, so I'm going to start top down this time around. So for a physician, you have to be licensed or registered to practice in the country that you live in. That's one of the prerequisites. The second thing is you must have produced 30 hours of online or non-live CME. And the CME is a generic term for probably continued professional education, rather than CME is a US term, but it's programs that have been approved to issue CMEs, which means they have been obviously vetted for their validity and for their scientific relevance. And the American board and the international boards have licensed or certified or approved probably about half a dozen programs that you could study, because obviously you need to learn what you get tested on. And so Alipate showed you before the lifestyle medicine board review course. It's also known as the Foundations of Lifestyle Medicine. And we highly recommend that publication, not just if you sit for the exam, but just as a general Foundations of Lifestyle Medicine study book, because it really teaches you what you need to know about lifestyle medicine. And more importantly, if you were to take the exam, it sets you up for success in terms of, passing the exam, having studied what you need to study. You do not need to sign up for the CME version. You can simply sign up for the non-CME version. All we require is the certificate of completion in the end. The other thing we require is 10 hours of in-person CME, which is basically attending the Fijian conference, or if people have attended maybe the conference that was just in Auckland a few weeks ago, that would qualify for your in-person CME. And for physicians, we require a case study that is templated. So it's a simple little template that simply says, tell us about a time when you made a difference in either your own life or in the life of one of your patients, where you used lifestyle medicine interventions. What was the diagnosis? What were the biometrics pre and post intervention? What were the medications that the person was taking pre and post intervention? The nomenclature, so what you call yourself when you pass the exam, is obviously a diplomate of the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine or a certified lifestyle medicine physician. And again, this is the standard all over planet Earth, all over the globe, right? Now, when it comes to pricing, so the South Pacific Society of Lifestyle Medicine has found a sponsor to heavily subsidize this particular exam coming up on the 13th of March 2020. It's an absolute one-off and is only available for people who actually practice in the South Pacific. So it's not as available to Australians or New Zealanders. It's only for people from obviously the islands. Anybody from the US or anybody from anywhere else who comes and attends the certification exam, which is again, you can actually take your certification exam anywhere on planet Earth because it's always the same exam. But people who come from the US and come to Fiji to take the exam, they actually pay $1,800 US for the privilege of sitting the exam. That's the going rate. So this is very heavily subsidized. So we strongly recommend, if you're thinking of getting certified, get certified in Fiji in March next year, because you're never gonna get a cheaper certification exam done. And obviously, when you look at the lifestyle medicine board review course, you can see there the cost for that, right? Which is again, $899 in the US. For PhD masters, it's the, you must have a PhD or you must have a master's in a health discipline as a prerequisite. Again, you must be licensed to practice in whatever discipline you are practicing in. Your 30 hours of online CME and your 10 hours of in-person CME, you will see that there is no case study is required. While the physicians have 150 question exam, multiple choice, they take 4 hours, they have 4 hours to complete. PhD and masters have 120 question exam, multiple choice, that also they have 4 hours to complete. And if you spoke Spanish or Chinese or Korean or Portuguese, you could do it in one of those languages too. Again, the certificate is jointly issued by IBLM and the South Pacific Society of Lifestyle Medicine. Your nomenclature is Certified Lifestyle Medicine Professional or Diplomate of the IBLM, and you can see the pricing there. Again, heavily subsidized in the US, it's $1,499 US for that exam. And then for bachelor level, the reason why the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine does not certify bachelor level, because at the bachelor level, health professional level, there is just a lot of differences between the various regions, the various countries. And so we leave it up to the South Pacific Society of Lifestyle Medicine to determine who is eligible for the exam. So whether it's registered nurses or dietitians or any other health professional. And the 30 hours of online CME is the same again, 10 hours of in-person CME, 120 questions. The certificate is issued by the SAS Pacific Society, and the nomenclature is Certified Lifestyle Medicine Practitioner. Again, that's standard around the globe, right? And again, you can see the heavily subsidized pricing. All right. Hopefully that wasn't too boring and too much detail. So if you go to the next slide, please. Just to give you an idea of what company you will find yourself if you get certified. So certification has only been available since October 2017, so barely 20 months, right? We had 2 exams in the US already, so we got about 440 physicians, 113 health professionals, and 28 practitioners certified. But we also have run exams in Australia and New Zealand already 3 times. As you can see, we've run them in the Philippines, in Great Britain, in Brazil, in Peru, in India, in Korea, Lithuania. And I just came back from Saudi Arabia, where we ran it last week. So we had 18 health professionals, physicians and health professionals sit the exam in Saudi Arabia, which is just unbelievable. And so you can see the numbers there. So total, we got about 800 people globally who are certified. If we go to the next slide, have a look. That's my brag slides. So this is the world. You can see there is plenty of activity. And there on the right-hand side in blue, you can see it says July 2020. That's a misspelling. It's meant to be March 2020. You can see Fiji is on the map too. Okay, next slide, please. And then I'm almost done. So upcoming, just again to show you what else is happening around the world. Yeah, the next slide, please. So we have in the US, we have now over 250 people registered for Orlando. Then we got 2 more exams come up in June and in November 2020. And then you can see all the exams in the pipeline. I'm very proud of Abuja in Nigeria, the first exam in Africa. Again, we're going to go in Doha in Qatar. Riyadh has already booked 2 more exams. And we're going to be in India. So it's really, really happening around the world. And so if you get certified, if you attend the conference, most people, what I hear most common is, I finally found my tribe. You know, a lot of us have been practicing this lifestyle for a long time, and people always thought us the crazy ones, right? And now more and more people are coming together around the globe saying, hey, this is how we provide health and hope back to humanity. And so it's tremendously exciting to be part of such a global movement and a global tribe. And I think that's about all I had for you. So over to you, back to you, Alipate.
Thank you, Stephan, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us around the world. So just, Stephan, if I could just ask a question very quickly.
Yep.
So let's just go back to because I know there's a lot of people who are outside the medical spectrum who've been asking questions about whether they could actually go through the course and sit the exams. Yep. Are they, because when you read the bachelor's entry level, you notice that it talks about allied health professionals. What about professionals outside the sphere of health? Like, for example, maybe say an accountant or a lawyer who's interested in lifestyle medicine. Would they be able to go through the course and sit the exams?
They will be able to go through the course, but not sit for the exam, no, because right now, because this is again a global framework, right? What we decided is that we firmly live in the house of medicine, and before we go out with accountants and even fitness trainers or personal trainers or whatever, the challenge is that we haven't convinced our physicians yet that they should be doing this. And so when we open the gates to accountants and to carpenters, and again, this is not disrespectful, this is not a slight on those professions, but I think, you know, as a physician, it's going to be a really hard sell to get physicians to buy into doing a certification that is open to accountants and to carpenters. And so it truly is in the house of medicine, and we restrict it for the time being very much, and for the next probably half a dozen years, to health professionals only.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Stephan. And again, for those of you who are tuning in around the Pacific, please take advantage of this this course and this certification. Remember, as Stephan mentioned, the price is heavily subsidized, and the best time to do it is the inaugural conference of the South Pacific Society of Lifestyle Medicine, which is March the 13th, 2020, here in Fiji. Don't miss it. Plan to be there. Once again, Stephan, on behalf of the SPSLM, we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us around the Pacific on this program. Vinaka Vakalevu, and have an awesome rest of the day.
Thank you.